Okay. Thank you for Warrant Committee for gathering. This is the 24th of October, and this is a pre-town meeting. We do meet the night of town meeting. We meet in the basement. I wanted to meet today so that we could take, first of all, have a little more time to consider some things are coming, and also there have been some suggested amendments from the public. And if we are favorably inclined to these amendments, first of all, this gives us a little more time to discuss them and think about them. And if we're favorably inclined, we can accept those amendments, and then it'll all be done and known and handed out to the town meeting members on a piece of paper, which is just a Karen.
May I do a quick roll call so you can call to order?
Sure, sure.
Sorry to interrupt. We have Jay Fundling, Elaine Craighead, James Lee Dassey, Grace Doherty, Andrew Coe, Julia Maxwell, Brian McGuire, Lee Michael McLean, and Nicholas Tangney. You have quorum.
Okay, great. I would like to share a screen. I've got some slides uh, to help guide this discussion, especially because I think, some of us can only stay for 30 minutes. So we'll have to be efficient, which I hope you like to hear. Um, so what I was saying is we've got some proposed amendments, and there are sort of two choices. Like, let's say we like this amendment. If we don't act today, do not oppose the amendment. If we don't act today, then here's what will happen. We'll go to town meeting. 250 of our best friends will be in a room. There'll be an amendment. If we amend it today, we'll discuss whether the amendment is good or not. If so, we vote yes. Then a green sheet is handed out to everyone. A piece of paper is handed out to everyone as they walk into town meeting, so they know right from the start what they're voting on. I don't know if this visual conveys what I was hoping to convey. My sort of idea is that if it goes to the floor of town meeting, it's just more stuff, more process, more time wasted by more people. Whereas if we do it today, it's just quicker and more efficient for any amendments that we want to support. So I will say there have been some that have come in through official or unofficial channels. The first one is about the MPIC article. And Brian and Grace, you're the experts on this. If you don't mind, I'd like to speak to it. So, the MPIC article, you might have seen in the paper, some of you, that the planning board was sort of not happy that they weren't consulted about this article. They had a meeting last night where they discussed that further, and I watched the meeting. And first of all, they did not vote on anything. The entire planning board did not hold a vote to do anything. They did not vote to suggest the amendment that's on the screen in front of you. They did not vote to oppose the MPIC article. They talked about a lot of options. So where does that leave us? Well, I
So
would go ahead.
I'll jump in.
Yes.
And I assumed, and I shouldn't have assumed because it's my fault, that the planning board you don't need to have a committee in Massachusetts, but the laws of Massachusetts state you have to have at least a policy. So, that being said, I would be okay with the language you proposed on this, Jay, because they report to the planning board. And I don't know if Meredith's seen this and if she's okay with it.
This is Meredith's language. So to give people context, but respect your time. Yeah, the planning board wasn't happy that they felt they hadn't been consulted or hadn't been consulted. Julia, I'll get to you in just a second. But they haven't taken steps to say, and so this shouldn't happen. The language you see in front of us was suggested by Meredith Hall. She suggested it to the planning board. They didn't take action on it. But I strongly, strongly suspect that if this goes to the floor of town meeting, Meredith Hall would, or someone, would make this amendment. And I'll get to you in a second, Julia. I want to say some might say this wording is superfluous, and it may be superfluous, but either we deal with the superfluous language now, or 250 of our best friends will have to deal with the superfluous language. I'm not saying it is on Monday. Julia, you're recognized.
I have two questions. The first is my understanding, and I don't know if anyone here knows this, was that Cheryl was one of the original authors of this article. Is that not accurate, or does
Yeah, no,
anyone?
that's what we thought also.
So then how was the planning board not involved?
Well, we talked to her and I thought that they, they were, and I mean, Brian and I both assumed that that was what happened.
The other four members, she didn't report back to the other four members, and I mean,
Okay,
But she brought changes back to them, Jane. She did, that we requested or
that was to
No,
the
she
that was
did
to the master plan
MPIC.
implementation committee.
Oh, not to the planning board. Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah.
and then my other question is maybe just a process question, like, I understand the value of, knowing this might be coming and sort of seeing it ahead of time and being able to think on it. But I mean, can we vote on a possible amendment before there's an amendment in front of us?
Yes, because this is something we are doing. We're not responding to it. I mean, we sort of are. We're not responding to amendment from a town meeting floor. This is us, the warrant committee, saying, we want to make this amendment to our recommendation. We can
I
do
see.
that.
Okay. Thank you.
So
And the reason we want to do it is to save time on town meeting floor. Yes, James Lee?
I am confused about what the difference between the item number 1 and item number 3 in this article. Item number 1 already says that they would make recommendations to the planning board as well as the select board. And then they want it to state again that they'll make recommendations to the planning board on item 3.
Yeah, the master plan is a 300-page document that was made 11 years ago. And this is saying, and by law, we have to have a master plan. This is saying if they want to change the master plan, also by law, the master plan is sort of under the planning board. This is saying if the master plan committee wants to make a change, they go through the planning board.
So for me, it would make more sense to get rid of item 3 and remove the confusion.
Well, I think the reason to keep it is to say the master plan committee should make recommendations when the master plan should be changed. But
it doesn't say that. It just says regarding the scope and key focus areas of the future of the master plan. The section on number 1 says, and to recommend, and then the details to the planning board, including implementation, such plan, including timing, resources, responsibilities. That's the detail of what they're recommending to the planning board.
I think the difference is, like, let's say the master plan right now says we should have more parking at the library. So under item number 1, this committee will be making recommendations to the town saying, here's how we should have more parking at the library. That's number 1. Number 3 is if we want to change the master plan. We want to change the master plan to say we should have less parking at the library.
Okay.
Right, but so they're just saying to add to the planning board.
Yeah, the words that are
Just
highlighted in yellow.
delineate the language as opposed to not directing it to anybody in particular, right, Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
But
And
to James Lee's point, wouldn't number 2 doesn't cover that?
I don't have it in front of me. I'm sorry.
yeah, no.
Looking at it, yeah.
If we were to just look at 1, 2, and 3, it repeats. There's a lot of repetitive words that it could just be more concise with one statement of these are the things that are covered, and the recommendation shall be made to the planning board, select board, town meeting, and that would kind of like encompass everybody who it should be recommended to. But in this case, they're just saying number 1 goes to the planning board and select board. Number 2 goes to the planning board, select board, town meeting. Number 3 goes to the planning board.
Right, but I think your point, James Lee, is like if we take 3 and bring in to make recommendations regarding scope and key focus areas of future master plan to those 3, or we would combine them and then it would just be 2. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
That seems to make sense to me and it's clearer, but.
Yeah, I think I agree with James Lee, like either striking number 3 or making parallel structure by making the language in 3 match the language in 1 and 2.
Yeah, I agree.
But to just have number 3 be the planning board only, I don't quite understand that. And I think causes confusion with the way number 2 is written.
I hear what everybody is saying, and I guess maybe this shouldn't be, but my feeling is we are 3 days away from town meeting.
Yeah.
We've had this suggested if it's not unreasonable,
It's not.
then I mean, you're right. We could rewrite these points. You're right. Maybe 3 is superfluous with 2.
gonna come up.
I don't know.
Right,
Maybe
and my only thing about this, and maybe I'm beating a dead horse here, it's like to make recommendations to the planning board suggests that only recommendations go to planning board, not select board and town meeting. And that's
That-
where I have an issue, is that it's only one body, so.
Yep. And sorry to cut people off.
Yep.
That was raised last night, and the confirmation came from town council and from town administrator. It doesn't prevent them from making recommendations on this topic to anyone else. It just says it shall be the planning board.
Right. Right.
Okay.
It's at least the planning board is covered in that versus nobody.
I'm just
Uh,
not sure why the argument that we're 3 days away from town meeting
What matters?
means we need to accept this versus come up with something that we think is more appropriate. We're 3 days away from town meeting. We're considering this. Why not consider something that we think is more in line with the rest of the way the article is written?
If it's like get rid of number 3, I'm not sure why number 3 is there, but just because I'm not sure why number 3 is there, you know.
Well, that was how the article was written originally, right? So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we
So, I
might be
mean,
pulling a
I-
peg out of the Jenga tower if we remove
Yeah,
number
I mean, I'm of Julia's mind that, we succinct it, make it more succinct and combine them so that it makes more sense and addresses the issues.
Or again, I would be perfectly happy with to the select board, comma, planning board, comma, and town meeting, just like the other ones are. That to me is, if we don't know why item 3 is there and we're worried about removing it, even though that is well within our right as a warrant committee, then why not make that, again, just make that language parallel to numbers 1 and 2.
This
You're
is Lee
saying-
Michael. I agree with Julia.
I
Okay.
agree.
What I hear you saying, oh man, sorry, I've got too many screens open or not enough screens open. Oh, hold on, I stopped sharing.
But to
Let me-
Julia's point, why not wait till Monday? We're discussing it now, but Monday we vote if something else changes.
The reason
No.
to not wait till Monday is so that
No.
we can have things printed and in front of town meeting members' hands, so that it just sort of goes
Okay.
a lot more smoothly. That
Mhm.
they're
It
voting
would
on
be
one thing.
our proposed amendment, not the planning board's proposed amendment. So that's
Okay.
why we could do it now and vote on it now.
Correct. All right, so let me share my screen. What I think I hear people saying is planning board. What I think I hear people saying is this, right?
Yes.
You see my screen? Okay. Yeah, I mean, the planning board felt like, okay, by law, the master plan is their baby. But if they want to, yeah. So that's why they wanted to say to the planning board. I don't know how I'll feel about this, but if this is what we think is right, then this is what we can do.
And we think that is right because it's aligned with items 1 and 2 that are not on the screen there.
That's correct.
Yep.
Which I can, I think I'm sharing my screen and not just my,
Yes.
see
that's
this?
correct.
Yeah, we can see it. We can see it.
okay. So it's small. I can make it a little bigger.
It does become a bit duplicative, but if that's what they want, all 3, at least it includes all the bodies.
I mean, it's a little different with one. There's no reference to the town meeting, right?
That's correct.
Right, right. It's very similar to the second one, though.
Mhm.
That's the
Should it
issue.
just be planning board and select board? Yeah, just planning board and select board might be good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because then that's at least that's the minimum for all 3.
Okay. Am I hearing a consensus and am I hearing a motion
I make a motion to accept as is,
as shown on the screen?
shown on the screen, right?
Second.
Okay.
Before we vote on that, just
Yes.
does town meeting should town meeting be part of 3?
Scope and
Key
Would you
focus.
normally bring like
It's a little-
recommendations to town meeting, or would it just be to these bodies?
yeah, it's a little unwieldy.
Yeah,
Town meeting is
yeah.
a very large body. Presenting things to town meeting, telling town meeting here's what's going on, that's one thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think.
Scope
it
and
makes
key
sense.
focus area is pretty narrow, right? But I'm not saying yes or no. I'm just asking the question because I don't know the answer.
And again, this doesn't prevent the Master Plan Implementation Committee from
Doing that.
presenting anything to anyone.
But these are
As it
minimum
shall be to
requirements.
these groups.
Okay.
Any more discussion about this?
No, I think we have a motion on the
Okay,
floor
good.
that's
Do
been
you have a
accepted.
motion
So
in a second? Yeah, so I was asking for discussion on the motion in front of us. If no further discussion, can you do a roll call vote, Karen?
Yes, did I confirm a second?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second.
Grace, I think.
Okay, great. Elaine,
Abstain.
James Lee,
Yes.
Grace,
Yes,
Andrew,
yes,
Julia,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Lee Michael,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Jay.
Abstain.
The motion carries.
Okay, great. I know we've got one member who has to drop off in 10 minutes. I don't think we're going to be done in 10 minutes. Will we still have a quorum if one member drops?
I believe you have, hang on. No, I think you may not. I'm sorry. Let me just double check.
You do it quick. I could take it from the car if that works.
No, if one member drops, you will still have a quorum. I'm sorry. You have 9 right now.
Okay. And can most other people stay for a little bit longer?
Yes.
I have till
Okay.
1.
So yeah, I wasn't imagining going past 1. So town meeting member, the same group of town meeting members have been involved with Article 7 in the past, have proposed this amendment to be brought in front of town meeting on Monday. And same logic that I said earlier applies. If there are any parts of this that I'll say agree with, or maybe I'll say don't disagree with, and we can get them taken care of today, that's that much less work that burden of town meeting has to deal with on Monday, and because this will be brought up. Now, I don't know if you had the chance to look at the slides. It's pretty much I would group them into 3 amendments. One is specifying that the wristbands will provide people 21 years and older. Second one, I'll jump to the third one because that's easier. The third one is to say no one-day liquor licenses with town land with a playground. And the second one is to give more information about what's on the site sketch and to say that it must have a beer garden, so to speak, a place where the alcohol is limited to that. You remember we discussed this earlier. The language as we approved said the select board may choose to have a beer garden, but don't have to.
So can you back up for a second and just talk about the sequence of how we got here? So these were proposed by who exactly? Not the select board.
It was correct. It was by town meeting members, specifically town meeting member Mike Zolas.
Right.
Sent this to the moderator has requested amendments, if at all possible, to be sent by yesterday.
Yep.
So he sent it to her yesterday. It's posted. I believe it's posted on the town website. So saying, we intend to make this motion amendment from the floor.
So these are all substantially the same ones that have been proposed in the past that we reviewed and considered and voted on with the language that we came up with, correct?
I think substantially the same is different than the same. So
Fair.
there
but-
are things I think worth discussing.
Yeah, okay. Just making sure I understand how we got to where we are. Thank you.
Okay. I'd like to leave the discussion starting with number one. I look at number one and I think it's very silly. Of course, the wristbands are for people 21 years or older. And then I think either the warrant committee can deal with this possibly silly amendment right now, or town meeting can deal with this on Monday. So that's
It should just be
Legal drinking age.
legal drinking age, right?
All right, because if that changes, then we have to change everything else.
Yeah, I agree.
oh, okay. I'll put a pin in this. It sounds like there's consensus for, consensus for that. Okay, legal drinking age. I like it. Number two is interesting. And if I read number two, remember a key part of their beer garden proposal previously was people under 21 can't be in there. That language isn't here now. So if I read this, what that says to me is there's going to be a designated drinking area. That designated drinking area might be the entire park. If something's going to happen on Manning Park, they might say all of Manning Park is a designated drinking area. And there's no restrictions to people being under 21 there. It's just you can't take your beer out of that area. So when I read that last night, I thought, well, hey, if that's what they're suggesting, that sounds great. But I don't know if that's what they meant. That's what they say. I don't know if that's what they meant. And then I wonder, okay, if we as a warrant committee take their language and say we're recommending it, and then they say, no, that's not what we meant. We meant something else. If the whole goal of this Friday afternoon meeting is to reduce confusion at town meeting, are we doing the opposite if we adopt an amendment? And I don't know if this is what they mean. I don't know if this is not what they mean. But I worry that if we adopt this wording, they'll say, oh, we didn't mean that. Obviously we meant over 21 only. And obviously we meant the beer garden can't be the entire park or whatever.
So Jay, what's making you think that you don't know what they mean? Is it just because this amendment came through, or what's?
Just because if I read it could say the entire park is the beer garden, and that seems to defeat the purpose of having a beer garden, but maybe not. I can't read their mind, but it seems different enough from what they proposed earlier of the beer garden not allowing people under 21.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's their idea,
That was my first reaction.
and give it to them. I mean, the whole thing is we got to give selectmen. This goes for number 6 also, number 3 or 6, depending on how you look at it.
I know what you mean.
Give the select board the discretion, and I don't think I've always maintained that we should retain flexibility.
Okay.
Hey,
I agree too.
So
Which is why I have a problem with item 3 also. I know we're not there, but
yeah, that's fine. We can skip to item 3. That may be something we could just knock off
because
one to the other.
playground includes Kelly Field, right? And many other venues. And select board would be kind of dumb to issue a one-day drinking license for a noon event where kids might be there. 6 p.m. at Andrews, is that a problem with the designated area? I don't think so.
I agree. I think it limits a lot with that. And I think it's the select board's determination. They should make that decision as to if it's plausible or not. That's what their job is.
And they're not going to issue a one-day license for the drinking in the Cunningham playground. I mean, that.
Okay. Yeah, it was, I mean, as Nick said, it's substantially similar to what they put last time. They suggested playground or play area, and we said, well, what is a play area? So I wanted to get your opinion again. I think I've heard from 2 members, but I think I've heard the voice of the body, and so I'll be able to speak to how we feel about this. So it sounds like, yeah, it sounds like I'm hearing a consensus on number 3. I'm hearing a consensus on number 1. Number 2, I'm torn. Again, my suggestion is if the whole point of today's meeting is to reduce confusion at town meeting, we might do the opposite if we adopt number 2. And if this is what they mean, if they said what they meant, and they bring it up on the floor of town meeting, we can agree to that amendment pretty quickly. Lee Michael.
I'm going to recommend that we don't make any changes here based on what's on the screen. We've already discussed all these points, and because they're not here to speak to us to clarify if what we're doing is actually going to make them happy or not, let's let them speak for themselves at town meeting. As for the first one, it sounded like we had consensus that it could be legal drinking age. That is unnecessary because we can't make it 18 and make it younger than 21 if we want, because state law governs. So I would suggest we just move on from this discussion.
Second.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
Okay. I'll throw out what I said earlier, that even if something is superfluous, we can deal with the superfluous thing now, or town meeting can deal with it on Monday. But if the consensus of the body is to make no change,
I agree.
I have to leave. Thank you.
Okay.
There's no vote coming up, right? Or is there?
I will want to take some sort of vote. I don't want to say, well, the 2 or 3 people who spoke up say we don't want to do anything. Well, I guess I'll throw this out there. Is there a motion to amend this?
Nope.
Hearing none, we will take no action on this.
Okay.
Is there anything else I wanted to talk about? Probably. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for your time. I will see you all. We have a scheduled meeting at 6:30 p.m. in the basement of, not the basement, but it feels like the basement, the first floor of the high school.
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah, is there
Yep.
room for that?
Second.
You
Yeah,
guys gonna
is
send
there
out
a room
for that?
number?
Room 104,
Okay,
just
great.
past the cafeteria.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
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 Thanks, everyone. Bye.